What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren, and if you were looking for a live-action Spider-Gwen movie to be developed, well, you're in luck. Or are you? We have news that a Spider-Gwen movie is currently in development. However, the unfortunate part is that it seems like it's currently in development over at Sony. However, oddly enough, that doesn't mean that this will not be an MCU project, because we also have a live-action Miles Morales coming to the MCU, and we know for a fact that Miles Morales is going to be in the MCU. And if Sony plays it smart and Marvel gets their way, then the future of the MCU as far as Spider-Man is concerned should be Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen. This is certainly a very exciting future to look forward to. Let's just hope Sony allows it. But Spider-Man 4 could set this up in a very simplistic way. And we do have some news about Spider-Man 4 today that I think fans are going to be really excited about. And again, some of the news makes it pretty easy for Sony and Marvel Studios to incorporate Spider-Gwen into Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies. So let's break down a lot of news that has recently come out about Spider-Gwen and Spider-Man 4. And if you're new and you want to stay up to date with Spider-Man and the MCU, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. We're also giving away an Xbox Series X and PS5 to subscribers. Just leave a comment down below and subscribe and you're automatically entered. So first things first, let's address this report about Spider-Gwen. The report is coming from the insider My Time to Shine Hello, who stated a Spider-Gwen live action film is in development at Sony. Now, here's the thing about this being developed at Sony. Again, we have confirmation from Amy Pascal, executive producer at Sony, that Miles Morales is indeed coming in live action. She did confirm this. And we've heard a lot of reports that Miles Morales is going to appear in Spider-Man 4. And they did set this up all the way back in Spider-Man Homecoming. We met Aaron Davis, Prowler, played by Donald Glover, who mentioned he has a nephew. That nephew is, of course, Miles Morales. So he does exist in the MCU, and apparently, it would seem evident that Marvel and Sony had plans to eventually introduce Miles Morales down the road in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's hope the same thing goes for Spider-Gwen, especially since the animated Spider-Verse films did amazingly well. They were stellar at the box office and with the fans' reception. They're awesome movies, and fans really love the interaction between Miles and Spider-Gwen. Sony would be foolish to not have that in live action, and since Miles is going to be in the MCU, it would make sense for Spider-Gwen to be in the MCU as well. Especially since Sony has been having a really hard time recently. It's been rough for them. Madam Web was supposed to start a big new franchise for them that they were going to build off of. They were supposed to have Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in that movie. It never happened. Then it was supposed to be Tom Holland Spider-Man, but that got cut as well. They took it as far as even producing concept art for Spider-Man fighting Ezekiel Sims. But of course that never happened, and it was a massive box office failure, and it was also a pretty big failure with the fans. And according to a report from the Hollywood Reporter, the failure of Madam Web really shook them. They were really relying on that. Although after watching it, I'm really not sure how they were relying on that to be something good for them. The point is, Sony really has no idea what they're doing right now, so just simply making a Spider-Gwen movie is sort of bad news for us, the fans, because if Sony's track record is any indication of how their future is going to be, Morbius, Madam Web, etc., then Spider-Gwen probably won't be a great movie either. It just doesn't seem like the people over at Sony really know what the fans want. In fact, Dakota Johnson, who played Madam Web in Madam Web, basically confirmed this, stating that executives make the decisions at Sony, and really it should be the storytellers, which that is not how it is over there. So let's hope Spider-Gwen is an MCU project. Sony can obviously want it to happen and be involved with it, of course, because that's how they were with Spider-Man in the MCU as well. But fortunately, Kevin Feige has the reins on Spider-Man. Sony has input, but it's ultimately down to Kevin Feige. Let's hope this happens with Spider-Gwen as well. And speaking of Donald Glover, My Time to Shine Hello also reported that Marvel wants Donald Glover to direct a project over at Marvel Studios. If a Spider-Gwen project is happening in the MCU, it would make sense to, one, have Miles Morales be in that movie just because of the success that, again, the animated Spider-Verse movies have had, and two, if that happens, it would obviously make sense for Donald Glover to direct that because he did play Prowler. And also, he was the literal inspiration to create Miles Morales in the show Community, which if you haven't watched, you should. It's genius. But at one point in time in the show, he is wearing a Spider-Man shirt when he gets out of bed, and that was the literal inspiration to create Miles Morales, a black Spider-Man. So since he was the original inspiration, it would be really cool if he would direct the Spider-Gwen movie that would have Miles Morales in it. Of course, it's not confirmed, that is just my speculation, but I think it would be really cool. But hey, let me know what you think. In another report from My Time to Shine Hello, she states that James Juan is one of the directors Marvel Studios and Sony are looking at to direct Spider-Man 4. This is really interesting, and if this is the case, then that definitely means that Spider-Man 4 is going to have a way different feel than the previous Spider-Mans, a more serious feel, which I think a lot of fans kind of want right now, especially if we are going for that more grounded Spider-Man, that street-level Spider-Man, which since we basically know the general plot of Spider-Man 4 right now, it seems like that is definitely what they are going to do. Kingpin is going to be the mayor of New York. He's going to make being a vigilante illegal, and he's going to send a bunch of other bad guys after these vigilantes. And this is going to be coming right off of Daredevil Born Again, which is going to be bloody. The Punisher's in it, and Daredevil is known to be gritty, and we've been told that they are keeping that with Daredevil Born Again, so Spider-Man shouldn't be that different. So James Wan might be a really good choice for this. He also directed, and this might be where you know him from, the last Aquaman movies, the first one and the second one. And if you didn't like those movies, we know at the time DC was kind of, being DC and they were interfering a lot. And I actually think that James Wan would do a pretty good job directing a Spider-Man film. But again, let me know your thoughts about this. Now, My Time to Shine Hello has also said that Black Cat is going to appear in Spider-Man 4. And this was originally reported by the insider Holyfield News, so this is just another confirmation about Black Cat. Now, Black Cat should be the romantic interest of Spider-Man in Spider-Man 4. MJ doesn't really know who Peter Parker is at this point in time, so it would make sense that Peter moves on and a new romantic interest is introduced into the film. Now, side note, I do think him and MJ will eventually get back together and she will remember who he is, but I don't think that's coming until a little bit later down the line. Ultimately, I do think that Tom Holland's Spider-Man saga is going to end with him and MJ being together. I'm not actually sure if he's going to make it out alive, if his sixth movie, his final movie, will show him dying or simply maybe retiring and being with MJ and passing the mantle to Miles Morales. Either way, it is going to Miles. He is the future Spider-Man of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The only question is, does he inherit this because Spider-Man dies, or does Spider-Man just simply pass it down to him and retire and live a good life? I want to say that he gets his happy ending. He steps aside as Spider-Man, he gets to be with MJ, and then Miles Morales comes into the picture. Now, Miles is supposed to come in Spider-Man 4, which means Tom Holland's Spider-Man will mentor him. This will build him up to be the main Spider-Man of the MCU, which means they could also build Spider-Gwen up at the exact same time and establish a relationship between them. Again, if that's the route that they want to go down because of the success of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. But like I mentioned, it is fairly easy to do, and this really sets up Miles and Spider-Gwen to be really key characters of the MCU moving forward, not just for Spider-Man related movies, but the MCU overall. I do think Spider-Man, whoever is the iteration of Spider-Man at the time, will always be a main character with Marvel, with the MCU. I just really hope that Sony lets Spider-Gwen be a part of the MCU and they decide to not do that movie themselves for their Sony Spider-Verse. But fingers crossed it is in the MCU, but in the meantime, let me know what do you think about all of this news in the comments down below. Please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. If you are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, we would love and super appreciate your support on there as well. And of course, as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.